Minecraft 1.21 is finally here. The Tricky Trials update has added new weapons, new mobs, new structure, and much more. So today I bring you some of the new awesome things that were added in 1.21 update. Minecraft 1.21 has added a new weapon, the Mace. Now the Mace is a heavy weapon that is crafted with one breeze rod and one heavy core. Now how you obtain those items will be explained later on. Now the Mace does a base damage of 3 hearts or 4 hearts with a critical hit. The Mace also has a unique feature called Smash Attack, where its damage increases depending on how high you fall when you attack with it. So while falling, the Mace will deal an extra 2 hearts of damage for the first 3 blocks you fall. It will then do an extra 1 heart of damage if you fall an extra 5 blocks. Then any damage for blocks fallen after that is kept at half a heart. This means you can no longer do insane damage to the warden like you could in the snapshots. Now one of the coolest features about the Mace is that the player's full damage is completely neglected if you manage to land a smash attack with the Mace. This means you can fall from a large height and survive if you just carry a mace and hit a mob on the way down. If you don't manage to hit the mob, however, you're gonna have a bad time. One of the main features added in 1.21 is the addition of a brand new structure that is known as the trial chambers. The trial chamber will generate in the overworld and it's made out of a variety of copper blocks. The purpose of this structure is to provide a combat challenge for players, as when you explore the structure you encounter rooms that contains a new spawner variant that is called the trial spawner. And the blocks that surround the spawner act as a hint as to which mob can spawn from the said spawner. For example, if the spawner is surrounded with bone blocks, it will spawn skeletons. Another type of trial spawner that will always generate is a spawner that spawns a new mob that is called the breeze. The breeze looks like this and is a hostile mob that attacks by firing wing charges at the player. This attack will deal high knockback to you if you are hit by it, which can be kind of annoying. The breeze has 15 hearts of health and if you manage to defeat it, it will drop breeze rods which look like this. Now these trial spawner work differently to normal spawners, as the mobs that spawn in them will spawn in waves instead of spawning constantly. Once the mobs are defeated, the trial spawner will go into cooldown mode for 30 minutes. But you'll also be rewarded for your efforts. That's right, the spawner will eject random treasure items as well as a new item called the trial key. The trial key is then used to unlock a chest-like block that is called the vault. Once you unlock the vault, by using the trial key, the player will be rewarded with a variety of loot items. But if you think it ends there, then oh no, you're wrong, cause trial chambers get even more challenging and rewarding, and here is why. So if the player enters a trial chamber while under the bad omen effect, then the effect will change to a new effect called trial omen. The trial omen effect will cause any nearby trial spawner within the structure to become an ominous trial spawner. Now the ominous trial spawner is a variant of the normal spawner which can spawn armored mobs but also grants the player more rewarding loot. The trial spawner variant can also drop an ominous trial key. You can then use this ominous trial key to unlock an ominous vault. This vault variant will give the player some very rewarding and rare loot, which includes the new heavy core item, which if you combine with the breeze rods I mentioned earlier, will allow you to craft the mace. Minecraft 1.21 has added 3 new enchantments that are unique to the mace. Now these enchantments are called Breach, Density and Windburst. First up we have Breach, which is a mace enchantment that has 4 levels. Now this enchantment when applied to the mace will reduce the effectiveness of the enemy's armor by 15% per level. This means a level 4 breach enchantment on a mace will reduce the armor of an enemy by 60%. Now this enchantment doesn't need to be found by looting. You can simply enchant it on an enchantment table. Next up, we have the density enchantment, which is a very useful enchantment as it increases the damage dealt per block fallen with a mace. And since the density enchantment has 5 levels, you can deal some insane damage with the mace when falling with this enchantment. Finally, we have the Wind Burst enchantment for the mace. Now this is a unique enchantment as it can only be found in an ominous vault within a trial chamber. When a mace enchanted with Wind Burst is used on an enemy, it will launch the player up into the air. This allows you to chain your attacks as you can hit the mob again and again while being launched up and down. However, once the mob gets defeated, you will then take full damage as the enchantment can no longer be used. So be careful. Now Wind Burst comes in 3 levels, with each level launching you higher and higher. Level 1 Wind Burst will launch you 8 blocks into the air, while level 2 will launch you 16 blocks and level 3 will launch you 24 blocks. Minecraft 1.21 is getting a new mob, the Bogged. The Bogged is a variant of skeleton that's covered in moss and mushrooms. The Bogged only has 8 hearts of health, which is 2 hearts less than a regular skeleton having 10 hearts. These guys can spawn in swamp and mangroves and behave similar to skeletons, except they attack slower but shoot tipped arrows of poison. In other words, Minecraft has added a skeleton that shoots poison arrows, which is going to be really annoying. A new item has been added in 1.21 and it's known as the ominous bottle. Now this bottle could be consumed by players to give them the bad omen effect for 100 minutes. This will allow you to get the trial omen effect to then turn the trial spawners into the ominous variant I mentioned before. Now the ominous bottle can be found uncommonly within walls of a trial chamber, or they can be dropped by raid captains when they are defeated by the player. While we are on the topic of the bad omen effect, we may as well talk about the new status effects that have been added in 1.21 update. The first status effect added is the infested effect. If you are under the infested status effect, there is a 10% chance for 1 to 2 silver fish to spawn on top of you when you are hurt. The next status effect is known as the oozing effect. If a mob is infected with the oozing status effect, then 2 slimes will spawn upon the defeat of the mob. Next up, we have the weaving status effect. If a mob is infected with the weaving status effect, then they will spread 2 to 3 cobwebs when they get defeated. And finally, we have the wind charged effect. If an entity is infected with the wind charged effect, then they will release a burst of wind upon getting defeated. Minecraft 1.21 has added 20 new paintings to the game. Now considering we haven't had proper new paintings since 1.4 back in 2012, this is a big deal. I mean, it's been over 10 years after all. Now here is what all the new paintings look like within the game, with 2 of them being standout paintings from the old days of Minecraft. I mean, this painting right here is of the rose flower, which was a flower added back in 2009, but later removed in 2012 to be replaced by the poppy. The other old painting is the one which is named Unpacked and looks like this. This painting is a reference to pack.png, which was an image used for the default texture pack in the texture pack selection screen in older versions of Minecraft. So yeah, I'm very happy we have got new paintings in 1.21, but one of the most notable blocks that we got was a new light source block that is known as the copper bulb. So the copper bulb is made from, well, copper, and what's interesting is that the light level of the copper bulb is determined on how much the block has oxidized. This means the more oxidized the bulb is, the dimmer it becomes. But you can reverse this process by scraping off the oxidization with an axe. Next awesome feature that is added in 1.21 is the addition of auto crafting, which comes in the form of a new block that is called the crafter. The crafter is basically a new redstone block that allows you to automatically craft items. The crafter's interface has slots in the form of a crafting grid that allows you to fill out the recipe of the items you want to auto craft. You can also click on empty slots within the crafter's UI to disable that slot. The disable mechanic allows the autocrafter to work more efficiently when autocrafting items with redstone. And there you go, those were some of the features added in 1.21. More 1.21 videos are coming soon, so if you enjoyed the video, like the video and subscribe my channel for more interesting videos. I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.